Because I am agoraphobe and you are not.
Hey,
What's up, guys?
after all that bullshit, trying to get this other computer working, man. It's just all fucked up. Hey, what's up, Ninja? What's going on?
Yep, we got Jay, we got Russ. What's up, Russell? What's up, Jay?
Yeah, what's up, Ginger and Russell? Got 4 people in here.
We're glad to know. Sean, you remember Alexi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Alexi
back.
Gamer, I think his name
Gamer. Yeah, he's back finally. He was gone for a while. Me and Jay were fucking worried about him, and then now he's finally back. He uploaded a review yesterday. I talked to him this morning, so he's back. That's good.
Here.
Okay.
I got a couple of new ones here to show here. I've been talking about Foghorn Leghorn. Well, here you go. Check your score.
But that's a joke, boy. You missed it. Went right past you. You gotta keep. I say you gotta keep on your toes. What toes had ears? The fast ones get right by you. Keep your ears open. Yappity yappity yap. I can't get a word in each way.
Always like Foghorn Leghorn's voice.
Here's it.
Yep. Pumping for oil? You're crazy, boy. There's no oil in this ground. Stand up, son. You're falling all over yourself.
Stand up, son. You're falling over yourself.
Such a great name for a character, too. Foghorn Leghorn.
He is the most obnoxious fucking cartoon character ever.
Yeah. What's up, Russell from Texas Hardcore? How are you?
Hey, Russ.
Hey, what's up, Russ?
Russell's here from Texas Hardcore. I gave you a shout out on my latest video, so hopefully that helps you get some more subscribers. I know, I think it only gave you like 1 subscriber, but you're getting closer to 50. So
Yeah, definitely subscribe to Texas, folks.
The first 100's the hardest. The first 100's the hardest. After that, it kind of moves along.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll feel like you're not getting any, and the next thing you know, you get a whole shitload all at once.
That's what happened. Well, because I was sick in the second half of November, and I wasn't putting stuff out. But like, I got like 15 subs in the last 4 days from like a few videos.
I got 60 last month. So, I mean,
Nice.
60 like burst all at once, man. But I mean, when you consider this, you consider 60 subs, but 19,000 fucking views.
Oh yeah,
You know
I know.
what I mean?
It all doesn't. None of them adds up at all. Yeah. That's why I don't care about views. I look at watch time, and more importantly.
Yeah, well, watch time. I got 400 hours.
Yeah, that's what I get a month usually. Yeah, it's like give or take 50 or so, 350 to 450.
But I'm the same way. I'll watch the fuck out of somebody and forget to sub.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean that too, and when you're getting when a video takes off a bit and you're getting a few hundred views, a lot of it's you have to take into consideration autoplay on YouTube that someone's watching something else and your video comes up next, and that's where the views are coming from, but they're not watching it or subscribing. There's so many.
Mhm.
There's so many different variables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just did.
Pass
Yeah.
out.
I just did one of my videos for an hour by accident, but it was talking about the Silent Night Deadly Night franchise, and that one has a remake.
Yeah, yes, it does. It's actually not bad. Silent Night, what is it, from 2012?
Yeah.
Silent Night's a good one.
That's not bad. It's pretty good kills in that movie.
It's decent.
Yeah.
At least it's more watchable compared to like the piece of shit ones like 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Those are piece of crap.
I mean, 3 through 5, I haven't seen in a while, but 4, I know Brian Yuzna. We were talking about this last week. Brian Yuzna's stuff I like pretty much no matter what. They shouldn't be in that series, but it's. I remember it being fun, like the Bug one, like it's like a Brian Yuzna movie, and has nothing to do with Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah, but I did like Clint Howard in that one. Like he was probably the best part of that movie.
I love Clint. He's so good. I actually messaged him the other day, see if I can take a chance to get him on. Because I would love to talk to him about like the Ice Cream Man and like so many movies that he was in the 90s.
He's Slinky to me from Tango and Cash. He'll always be Slinky.
He's had so many like just small roles or cameo roles, and like that guy's been in everything.
Right. Well, so how was it, man? For me, it was easy for me to come up with a top 5 remake, man. I've known my top 5 remakes for a long time.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying. Yeah, I have a video of my top 10, but since it was top 5, I did have to adjust a few of them a little bit, just because it was narrowing it down. I was like, well, this one actually should be up a little high up. So, but it was mostly done. And since we got the Evil Dead 2 thing out of the way, and the other one that I said that's my favorite film I don't mention, so that's pretty much I got it all good here.
Cool. So what ones do you want to shout out as honorable mentions then?
Okay. Does anybody want to go first?
Go JT.
Let me see. I'm just gonna throw out like a few, and then if others mention it, because I don't want to bring up ones too many that might be on the list. But I would say Funny Games from 2007. It's a great remake. I mean, it's same director, shot for shot, but I like the remake better than the original. Piranha 3D from 2010. I always say I think that's just a great example to take a movie that wasn't that great, because I don't like Dante's original, and then just make it balls to the wall crazy and make it like how it's supposed to be. Yeah. And Greg Nicotero actually owns, or not Greg, he owns David Warner's head from The Omen. Somebody who works for Fangoria or something owns Eli Roth's corpse, like from that movie.
Yep.
But that's a great one. And I'll throw one other. This one could be on the list, but this is one of those classics that I never saw until recently, like maybe 6 months ago. I've seen the original many times, but Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 78. That easily could be on the list, but I have to rewatch it and stuff. That was just a classic I never got around to until 6 months ago or so. Amazing. That's movie. Love it.
That's a great movie, man.
Like a movie I still need to pick up for my collection, surprisingly. Like, out of all the movies I have, I do not have a single copy of that in my collection.
That's how I felt about watching it. Yeah.
Arrow's good.
Like, I don't even have it on DVD. Like, I just don't have it at all.
That's how I felt when I watched it finally. I said, how did I never watch this remake? Because it's
Arrow Video's going to release it in 4K.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be cool. Oh, nice. But those three, and I've seen the '93 one by Abel Ferrara. That's good too, actually. It's not
93.
Not and Nosferatu the Vampire from '79. That's the rest of the honorable mentions. I'm sure somebody will bring up at some point. So.
Yeah, for my honorable mention, I'm gonna mention the '78 Body Snatcher movie, because that was the first time I got to see it with Keith on the stream we did, and that was actually a big surprise because I never saw the remake. I only saw the original, and that was really fucking good.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. I saw the original a few times in the past, and I saw that finally. I said, I don't know why it took so long for me to watch this. Great, and Donald Sutherland's great in it. The effects are great.
And I know they did that Puppet Master movie in the 90s with Donald Sutherland's in that one too. And it's like a similar ripoff of Invasion by Snatcher movie.
Yeah, Puppet Masters. Yeah. And they mentioned that in The Faculty in the movie, I think.
Yeah.
When they're talking about Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and I forget her name. The girl says, no, it's basically, that's a ripoff of Puppet Masters. And they go into a whole thing on it.
Yeah. And then my second honorable mention, I kind of like this more than the original because I know a lot of people love the original. Like I always say, to each their own, but it's the Fright Night remake with Colin Farrell and Anton Yelchin.
I don't remember the Fright Night remake that much. I'm not a fan of the first one, the original one.
Yeah, I kind of like the second movie more, but I kind of like for the first movie, I kind of like this one better, the remake, because I just kind of feel like the movie kind of flows a little more better, and I thought Colin Farrell did a great performance as the Jerry character.
Yeah, I got to rewatch that one actually.
Yeah,
it's
a very underrated remake. Like it's very forgotten, like not really talked about that much.
Yeah.
Even though
I hear people
shit.
praise it sometimes, but I never cared for it. I actually had to shut it off. I couldn't get through it. I couldn't.
I don't remember a thing about it.
Yeah,
because like I said,
I'm not a big fan of the original Friday Night movie. That's why I'm more into this one more.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm
not really a big fan of the
Fright
Night films either.
Yeah, I don't mind it, the first one. I don't think I've even seen the sequels or how many sequels there are or anything like that. But it's a good movie. It's just not
so that's my honorable. Those are my two honorable mentions.
Good one.
Anybody else has honorable mentions?
I just went with one, and I thought this one was worth mentioning overall. It seems like it's gotten mixed reviews, but overall it does seem like most people do generally enjoy this, and that's the new Hellraiser.
You know, I was thinking
that's a pretty good one. And I enjoyed that one.
I did like it, and I'm not a big Hellraiser guy either. Like past the first two.
Yeah.
To me, that was more watchable than Revelation and Judgment.
Yeah, I've never.
That's another thing. Like, I really feel like the new Hellraiser was like it was a way of getting the franchise back on track. And I think the film is like far from perfect. There is flaws throughout it.
Yeah.
Some kind of it seems like there is some kind of issues with pacing here and there, mostly in like the second half of it.
Yeah.
But if you can get beyond that, there's really some really cool elements about it. A lot of we actually do get to see somewhat of a labyrinth throughout it too. Unlike the first film, we don't really get that or anything with the original film. But I overall, I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first watched it, I really enjoyed it, and I was like, let me watch it again to make sure that I really like this film, because I'm like, why do I really like this a lot? Like, I usually don't like remakes at all.
Yeah.
So I watched it a week later, and I was like, yeah, I do like this. I like where this film's going.
Yeah, I like that it's a refreshing one, and it's not shitting on the original Hellraiser movies. It's its own thing. Like, that's what David Gordon Green should have done with his 2018 Halloween movie series.
That was David Bruckner directed that Hellraiser, right? That's David Bruckner. Yeah.
I wasn't too when they came up with the idea to have female Cenobites, I wasn't too crazy, but it makes sense since the original story itself, the novel, it's got female Cenobites in it. So in a way, it's all right, if we're gonna remake the film, why not go back to the original roots? That took a little while for me to really have that sink in and understand it fully, but now that I totally understand that and get it, that's another thing that's grown on me about it.
Yeah, I watched it when it came out, and I liked it. And then I watched it recently, maybe a few months ago, to rewatch it, like you said, and I liked it even more on the rewatch because I like the first two Hellraisers, but I'm not big on them. They're not movies I'll throw on ever really, unless somebody wants to watch them. But that was I like that a lot, that remake.
Yeah, because that came out the same year as that new Chainsaw Massacre bullshit from Netflix, and that Hellraiser movie was better. I enjoyed that one more.
Yeah, sounds better for me.
I mean, that's a bootleg I have right here. I bought this on eBay for $10. Somebody was selling it, and It actually did come with a slipcover, but the slipcover was completely mangled when it showed up. Like it was literally like falling apart. Like it opened up like a folder. Like it was. I was like, I'm throwing that the fuck out.
I'll print my own out.
Probably Fox will probably get a 4K because I know they released Prey, so they might do Barbarian and the Hellraiser remake.
I mean, like on the back of the bootleg, it does have a 20th Century Fox label. So this was released through Hulu. They already released Prey, so I don't see why Hellraiser won't get a legit release.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will, especially because I think they have plans like to do more with the franchise now. Like since they did a remake, I heard that they were thinking about maybe doing like another film going off of the remake.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll get a release. But you never know. I mean, The Empty Man from 2020 is my 19th favorite film of all time, and that movie still doesn't have a fucking release.
Yep.
Redbox was the only way to get a DVD copy of it. Then they had it on HBO Max forever, and then they took it off. I think it's on Hulu now, though. That's a great movie, The Empty Man.
Yep.
That's the only honorable mention I have. Is like usually when I go with honorable mentions, I go with like one or two, but I just went with one here.
That was a good one. I like that one, and I like a lot of David Bruckner stuff.
I've got a few honorable mentions. I've got the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Yep.
Got the Amityville Horror remake is actually a lot better than the original.
Really, that's an interesting take.
Black Christmas 2006.
Yeah.
The Blob 1988. Cape Fear 1991. And
Cape Fear's underrated.
From Martin Scorsese. And since we decided this is its own thing, this will be number 1 or number 2 in anybody's list.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and throw this in as an honorable mention, and I'm going to take it out of my top 5, and I slipped something else in.
Yeah, because that would be my number 1. Everyone knows.
Yeah, I think it's like, it's wise to at least mention the thing.
Absolutely.
Like this. Like it's got to be mentioned whether we pick it or not.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask about that and about Evil Dead. But let's chat real quick. What do you guys think about Evil Dead 2? Do you guys view it as a remake or a sequel? Because
think about it,
I probably like a half of a reboot and a sequel. Yeah, a little bit.
I always looked at it as a sequel personally. I always have.
I always looked at it as a reimagining that Raimi was able to do with a bigger budget and stuff. And he just remade the first one because there's so many things that don't make sense with that. Like if it was a sequel, because then Ash goes back with a different girl and plays the tape again after what happened in the first movie, not knowing all of that. It just makes it mad confusing. Why it's been
because at the end of the first one, he gets attacked by the demon at the end, and that end in the first one. And
that's that was the end. And then I guess he got more money a few years later and said, "Oh, I wanted to do much more and do this and add more comedy." And then that's what Evil Dead 2 is. That's how I always viewed it.
But it's a great movie.
I prefer his first take on it than his second. Then you know what I mean. I prefer the first.
Well, I know you like you like the original and the remake, the darker ones. I know you don't like Army of Darkness and stuff.
Yeah, when we did the top 10 horror films of all time, the original Evil Dead came in at number 1 for me. Yeah, that's still my favorite film of them all. Is the original one.
Yeah,
the first two are my favorite.
The first two are mine more too. It depends what mood I'm in. If I'm in like a more serious horror mood, then Evil Dead 1 wins in that. But if
when I rank
them in whatever mood, I mean, Evil Dead 2 just has it all for me.
Yeah, when I rank the movies, the only one, even though I still watch it, but I kind of put the new Evil Dead movie as the weakest one because I do have some problems with it, but I still enjoy the movie.
I really liked Evil Dead Rise, but it's definitely for me the same. It's the weakest out of all of them. It didn't feel like it went there.
Yeah, because I like the opening was pretty badass.
I love
the way it opened.
The water and she comes out the water and the freaking title card. All of that was great.
I wish that was like the whole movie set in like a cabin in a lake. Like that would have been really cool for an Evil Dead movie.
When I first heard that it was going to be in a high rise, I was thinking like Demons immediately, Demons 2, and like Poltergeist 3 and stuff, and thinking that they'd actually maybe utilize the high rise, and that we were going to see Deadites like all over the place and shit like that. Like that's what I pictured when they announced it. So maybe that like let me down a bit when it wasn't that. But I mean, there's a lot of great stuff in there, and it's a very bloody entry. Like there's a lot of
even
blood.
the ending is pretty bloody too.
Yeah, there's just not. I feel like it's missing something that the remake from 2013 had. Those intense Evil Dead visceral moments, like the needle coming out of the eye and sawing her arm off, all of that, like it's just fantastic in the remake.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll start with JT and go around to Sean, and then Juno, and then to me.
Yeah, Joseph's asking me a question. Did you enjoy the Rob Zombie's Halloween movie? Yeah, I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I care for it. It's not bad.
I'd rather watch that than David Gordon Green's Halloween shit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, number 5.
Number 5.
I'm looking because I'm like, damn, fucking these two, like on my top 10, 5 and 6. I feel like I want to switch them over and over again. But I'll go with the Ring from 2002, since I love Ringu. That's in my top favorite movies of all time too. So I think this is one of the best remakes from the 2000s going forward for sure. Which is a lot of
Asian horror fan.
I'm not too big of a Japanese horror fan. I mean, there's a lot of films that I do like, but like the way that we're into Italian stuff is like I never got that big into like Japanese horror and stuff. But I still love the genre.
We're huge into Italian though, you know what I mean? So I mean, it's hard to compare the two.
Yeah, very, very different, especially the culture and everything. But I think that's a great remake. I think it's a phenomenal remake, and it's responsible for bringing those Japanese classic movies to America and having horror fans see them.
I actually seen it first.
What, the remake or the original?
The remake.
I saw it first too. I saw the remake first too. Like that was in 2002. Yeah, I was fairly young when that came out.
Not Naomi Watts,
she's great in everything. I love Naomi Watts.
Yeah,
that
brings up the King Kong remake too. You know what I mean? The King Kong,
that's a good one.
Jackson,
Peter Jackson's one. That's a good one. But The Ring 2002.
Yeah, and Hans Zimmer's soundtrack is eerie and very good.
Yep.
Because I like the theme song. It just feels like an eerie music that keeps playing the same theme, but it actually gets like to a different beat to it and just sounds creepy. Gives like the movie a eerie mood to it.
Oh yeah, I like it. The only thing I don't care for in that remake is in The Ring is the green filter all over that movie.
The green filter.
You see it in the Saw movies a lot of movies in the 2000s, but the Saw movie it has that's like the Saw look, and so it had that green filter. But then you have it in The Ring, and it's just I don't like it for some reason. It doesn't need to be green like everywhere, and it takes a little bit down from. That's like the only negative I have with that movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing it on VHS, and the cool thing about the VHS that I used to have, it played the tape in the beginning of the VHS I would watch on it, and it was so cool.
Oh yeah, and then so it's like you watch this and screw you, you're gonna die 7 days after you watch our movie.
And they play like the Ringu teaser after it, like that was pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah, Ringu the original was just amazing. That's like top 20 for me.
All right, Sean.
All right, so number 5. Hold on a second. I can just reply to a comment here. Coming in at number 5 for me is I felt like I actually had Savini's Night of the Living Dead from 1990 and at number 5, but I decided to switch this one out to have just to have my top 5 to be a little less obvious. I wanted to go with something else. I thought that was pretty much worth mentioning here.
Cool.
And I enjoy both of these films, though. I enjoy the original film and the remake. It's really hard to choose between these films, but coming in at number 10 for me is the 2010, or coming in at number 5 for me is the 2010 film Let Me In.
It's a good remake.
Yeah.
I love the original, but the remake is a good one.
Yeah, I enjoy both films. to the point where, like, I was like really thinking about that too. I was like, I really enjoy the original and the remake. Like, I almost can't pick between them, and that's like another reason why I was like, this has got to make my top 5.
Yeah, I got one like that too. That I can't really pick between the original.
But I mean, I really feel like the remake does a good job at having, like, bringing new elements to the story, and on top of it, it's another movie with great performances from young actors. With Chloe Grace Moritz is in it. I forget the little boy's name that's in it, and then you also got what's his name is in it? The guy who played Casey Jones from Ninja Turtles. He's like one of the cops in it.
Yeah.
And I think Richard Jenkins. I think Richard Jenkins is the father of the little girl who's playing Chloe Moritz or whatever.
Yeah, Richard Jenkins is the father.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it's Richard Jenkins.
That name too. I always say Chloe Moretz or whatever.
Yeah, I never remember her full name.
Yeah, Chloe Grace Moritz.
Yeah, Grace Moritz.
Yeah, Grace. I forget that fucking name every time.
Yeah, Mikey's in the chat and he says to Sean, it's the guy that plays Casey Jones is Elias Coates.
Right. That's
Coates.
his name.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his name, Elias Coates.
He plays a cop, and like once he finally figures out what's going on, like he can't comprehend everything. It's almost like he has to start really questioning his whole life and his fucking job on top of it once he realizes that vampires are real and shit. It is like, I think they're both great films though. What's the first one is Let Me In, or Don't Let the, or the
Let
fuck's
the
the
Right
original
One Let the Right One In.
Let the Right One In, and the remake's called Let Me In.
I wonder why they shortened it.
I don't know, but I really do feel like I feel like with the different titles, it does a good job at like really separating the two films. Like it does separate the two films in a way, almost to a point where it almost seems like they really are not linked at all.
Yeah, it differentiates it more. That's what I think with Texas Chainsaw 3. I always wondered why they changed the Sawyers to the Ewits, and I feel the same thing, like just to differentiate it more from the original.
Yeah, which if you're not paying attention to that shit could really throw you off.
Yeah,
why are you saying a different name now?
Yeah, the Sawyers is such an iconic name. It's like that's why I always thought since it came out, why change it? But at this point, it's like whatever. They wanted to switch it up.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's my pick at number 5 there. That's Let Me In from 2010.
Nice.
Yeah, I gotta check it out, Sean.
Yeah, definitely recommend it, man.
Yep. So my number 5 on my list is the House of Wax remake from 2005.
Nice.
That's on my honorable mention.
Yeah, I thought about that one.
Good slasher. That's almost like a complete reimagining. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this movie got shit on when it came out because it got all this bad reviews. Even Roger Ebert hated this movie as well.
He hates everything. Yeah.
Well, it also was.
Yeah, it's all good
like,
stuff.
I know, like it was also like it was one of those films that was like heavily like produced through like MTV at the time, like when they had TRL and everything and all that bullshit.
Paris
So, like,
in the movie.
Yeah, and it was really directed towards like a teenage audience.
Absolutely.
And I think they were also trying to like, direct that towards a teenage audience with also trying to get away from the original. It was like, I think the original film had the 3D with it, like the House of Wax 3D or something.
Right.
So like it's like back when that film was made, it was like, like I don't know who released that. Who released House of Wax? That was maybe Warner Brothers.
Better MGM. I remember it also had a young Charles Bronson in it too.
Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Because like I know, like I think it was like Warner Brothers or somebody was trying to like really match Universal with the monster films at that time, and it was popular with remakes already as it is. But I don't know why the film really got shitted on. But I know when I first saw House of Wax, it didn't do a whole lot for me. But with multiple watches, it definitely it's grown on me. That's for sure.
That was
I never seen the originals, so I gotta check it out.
I'm trying to look up. Was it 13?
There was another one called
PG-13? Or was it R? House of Wax. Was it R or PG-13?
It might be PG.
That's what I was thinking, but I think it is R.
But I know that Dark
Can't remember the
Castle
name.
was
One
involved
of them
in
has Ray Ray
the
in
House
it.
of Wax
I didn't
remake.
know that.
Dark Castle. Okay.
Because I know Dark Castle did House of Haunted Hill remake and the 13 Ghosts remake.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Those are good too.
They were also, those films were like heavily like, you know, like like played on MTV like on Friday nights and shit. Like they were like MTV movies.
And there were movies that remakes that got shit on by critics.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we got 16 in the chat. Thanks everybody. Hey, don't forget to give us that thumbs up, you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for coming on. Much appreciated.
But my final thoughts about House of Wax remake, I think it's a pretty solid, even though it does have some pacing issues, but I still think it's a very underrated remake, and it does have some pretty cool effects, especially the finale when the stuff gets wax at the end when it's all melting. That's pretty cool that they use real wax.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's definitely a worthy remake.
Or whatever actually does all right too.
And if you hate Paris Hilton, you get a pretty cool her.
Yeah, that's satisfying too. I don't really give a shit about her.
Exactly. So, you get a cool kill with her. Yep.
I knew
you get to see a pole go through her head or some shit. It's not a bad kill actually.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew somebody was gonna mention her. Yeah.
You got pretty good practical kills effects as well. Like it's not just only like any setting events. Like there's pretty good practical effects kills in this.
Yeah, it doesn't
deserve
it.
Came out of a shitty time. Come out at a shitty time, so it got a shitty reputation.
That's what a lot of the mid 2000 remakes fell into the bigger group of the shitty 2000 remakes, and then like you look back at a lot of them, it's like man, a lot of these aren't as bad as they were getting shit on back in the day.
Yeah, number 5 is House of Wax on my list.
Just like my number 5 came out around that same time. It's a remake of 13 Ghosts. The fun
13 Ghosts.
Right? Yeah, it's a great remake.
That's another one that got shit on, but it's pretty good, man.
Like I'm not super crazy about 13 Ghosts, but I do enjoy the film. Like I have it in my collection. Like it's definitely a film. Like,
I'm not huge on it either, but I like both.
Yeah,
the remake and the original.
Yeah, like I mean, I also feel like a movie like that was due for a remake because you know when you have a film that's so old and the original's in black and white, it just doesn't pertain to all audiences. So it's a movie like that deserves a remake, I think.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I think the movie's pretty good. I do like Tony Shalhoub in the movie, and as well Matthew Lillard is pretty good as well.
Matthew Lillard's great in it. He makes the movie, man.
Matthew Lillard is one of the few things about Scream that I love. The first movie, I love Matthew Lillard.
I think also Matthew Lillard he played Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movies around that same time.
Yeah.
He was doing a lot of shit around the time.
He killed in Twin Peaks: The Return. The small role he had in that. He was
Without a Paddle. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. What else? Five Nights at Freddy's. He was just in.
Oh my gosh, man! Five Nights at
I haven't seen that yet.
It's alright. I mean, if you're a fan of the games, maybe you'll like it more. But I'm not a fan of the games.
I was kind of disappointed with that movie.
Yeah, it was alright. It's like very mainstream horror, like pretty much.
But yeah, number 5, 13 Ghosts. I think what is it?
That's a good one. 13 Ghosts.
2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2001.
Like one thing I always like with 13 Ghosts is how like they have those glasses in the movie, and if you're wearing those glasses, you can see the ghost. And some people don't have one. They're like, "What? What do you say? What do you say?"
It's like, give me those fucking glasses. You rip it off that.
Yeah, that was the old William Castle one. Yeah, William Castle had all kinds of those little fucking trinkets and shit they did. Like with Tingler, he'd have your seat like buzz and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, the Tingler's coming. And nurses outside there just to keep you fainted or whatever. He had all like those gimmicks going back then. Man. It was pretty cool. Really. But yeah, that rounds up number 5. So we'll start with
number 4. Number 4, I have David Cronenberg's The Fly from '86.
Ooh, only down number 4. Ooh,
nice. I actually totally forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's a badass remake.
Yeah,
Great.
it is. I mean, that's almost on the same level for me as like The Thing, that it's its own thing, but it's much closer to the original, the story and everything. But just for the effects alone in the remake,
Yeah.
David Cronenberg's body horror.
That is
effects.
the most badass special effects, man.
Yeah, like those are the effects in that movie are in like probably my top 10 movies, like the best effects work and stuff like that. Like Day of the Dead 2 and The Thing, obviously, The Blob, and then The Fly. Have you not mentioned The Fly? That's a great one.
Because I know they try to repeat it in the second one, but the first movie's the better movie.
No, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, the original The Fly isn't that bad.
Yep.
I actually like that.
Yeah.
I do respect the original as
For
well.
when it came out and how creative they had to get, like to
Yep.
make the story work. I always liked the original Fly, but what he did with the remake is just phenomenal. So yeah, the Fly remake from '86 at number 4.
Yeah, like I feel like another thing that's big for Cronenberg's films in general is how, for the most part, like most of his filmography, he would have Howard Shore doing the scores for him.
Yeah,
And I always feel like that's what really gives any kind of emotion to his films. Because his subject matter is so bizarre. It's almost to a point where you can, like, how can you have a heart for anything that what you're watching at that point? It's really the music that pulls you in emotionally.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's a good point.
a lot of his movies do that. But, and Keith, I finally saw Shivers. I remember I said that was like one of the few.
Oh, yeah. So-
it was fucking great. Great movie.
That is one of my favorite Cronenberg.
I saw it a
I
few
think
weeks
it's
ago. I
brilliant.
put it on. I said, let me finally fucking watch it. And yeah, it's great. Great.
I've been raving about it for years on here.
Hey,
Man,
what's
watch
up, Ed?
Shivers, watch Shivers.
How are you?
Yeah, no, it was definitely already probably cracked my top 5 for Cronenberg. Just on a one
Excellent.
watch of it.
Excellent.
Because and then I watched Rabid, which I've seen multiple. After that, I made it like a double feature night with Cronenberg.
Hell yeah. You're never quite the same after that, are you?
Yeah. But yeah, The Fly, awesome remake.
All right. All right. Coming in at number 4 for me here is we got a holiday one here. Definitely up there is one of my favorite remakes. And this is another one, though. When I first saw it, I really wasn't too sure how to feel about it. But it's definitely grown on me, and that's the 2006 remake for Black Christmas.
Cool. That's an honorable mention.
Very cool.
But yeah, I just feel like like the film does a really good job at bringing its own thing while also respecting the original idea of Bob Clark's Black Christmas. I think it's really insane how many decorations and Christmas lights they had throughout that fucking movie. There is times where I'm watching it and I'm just like, what the fuck? It's so bright. Like,
I was just going to say that's one thing I've always liked about it is that they nail the Christmas feel a little too much, though.
Yeah.
It's weapons. They
great
time
at
it, time it, and shoot it.
Yeah, it's great at being like the Christmas feels great in it, even if it is like over the top.
Yeah, and like like also like the house. It does a really good job. Like I don't know how they found that house, if it's actually a set or a real house, but that house looks so identical to the original house and everything. And I mean, besides the characters being who they are on their own, outside of the original characters, it just does a really good job at telling you that you're watching a remake for Black Christmas, but watch it do its own thing too. And it has its own backstory with Billy. And that was a big thing for me to really take in when I first saw that. Was like, what the fuck's up with Billy and having jaundice and turning yellow and
it is a very
there's
odd.
so many like fucked up and gory situations throughout it that helps you kind of get through that stuff.
Yeah, Agnes is the thing too in the remake when she wasn't in the original. He mentioned her, but then you get her. You got 2 yellow fucking people. You got the Simpsons. I've always liked the 06 remake. Actually, after the 2019 Blumhouse one, we talked about that last time. But like this one looks like a masterpiece compared to that.
And Phyllis from the original is the house mother in it. I always thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
the same actress. Yep.
We still got that sound, you guys.
I know it's getting louder and louder.
fucking. So it's definitely one of the three of us.
Yeah, I'm trying to like mute my mic, but it's not doing nothing.
Unless all of us could try to do it together.
That stopped it for a minute, whatever it was.
Yeah, it's been going on and off.
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, with the holidays coming up, that's definitely a movie. You know, sitting there going through all the remakes, and I'm like, Black Christmas, like, you know, that's definitely a worthy one. That's why I had to have that one coming at least number 4.
I do enjoy it, even though there's some flaws with the movie. Like some of the characters are kind of weak in the movie, but I'm just there for the Billy character and the kills and the backstory and all the gory stuff in the setting. The nice Christmas setting looks absolutely insane with the Christmas lights.
Yeah. There's even like a pretty cool scene where like it's the house mother who's from the original film, and she gets like an icicle in her eye.
That's a gory
And
kill.
then, like, but like I forget if it's that kill or not, but there is a kill where there's like a plastic Santa Claus outside. Somebody gets killed, and like I guess they pulled the knife out, and like the blood squirts all over the Santa Claus's face. Like it's so over excessive.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It is, and it's cool that it does something like that, both with the story and like the original is pretty much bloodless. At least bumped it up with the kills.
And that woke ass bullshit.
No, it's still there.
I guess when Keith comes back, we'll go out one at a time and come back.
I
So
guess.
like about the remake, I actually didn't mind it, even though there's some flaws to it. But I still rather watch that than that 2019 crap.
Yeah, the 2019 film that almost made my top 5 worst horror films of all time, and I was like, you know what? That's not even worth mentioning at all. I'm not even gonna mention that fucking movie.
They have that actor Carrie Ellis wasted in that piece of crap movie.
Yeah.
That's
forgettable. That's a movie I really want burned from my memory.
It's like a generic Blumhouse movie with the Black Christmas name slap on it. Like, it's not really Black Christmas to me.
Yeah, they were trying to cash in on that name, and they fucked up big time with it.
Absolutely.
No connection to Billy or anything. No Agnes either.
They had that script sitting there, Blumhouse, and said, let's just throw Black Christmas on it and make some money. That's exactly what happened.
The 2016 kicks that movie. The 2006 movie kicks that movie's ass.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like,
yeah, coming in at number 4 for me is the Black Christmas remake from 2006.
All right.
I got my number 4 right here. Is everybody ready?
Yep.
My number 4, it's gonna be different because it's not really like a straight up horror movie, but it's like more of an action movie, but mixed with horror themes. It's the Mummy remake with Brendan Fraser.
Oh, okay.
Or like the Mummy remake from 1999.
Okay. Actually, I thought of that.
Yeah, even though I was surprised that this
I haven't seen that forever.
Horror movie, I was like wondering, like, this movie was more of an action movie, but it is up there with horror remakes. When I found out that it was the horror remake, so like I got to mention. Yep. So next,
in the chat. How you doing, brother?
Hey there, Max.
Yes. Welcome. Hey, yeah, the Mummy. But it is a good movie.
Hey, what's up, Max?
Yeah, the Mummy remake. I grew up watching this on VHS, and I thought Brendan Fraser kicked ass in the performance, and it does have some creepy moments in it because it does keep that horror aspect where you have like creepy sounds and eerie moments and eerie soundtracks by Jerry Goldsmith, who does the soundtrack.
Oh man, Jerry Goldsmith's on play.
Yeah, I like the soundtrack from Gary Goldsmith. He does a badass score in this one.
Yeah, that was a big movie.
Yeah, very good movie. It does have some like a little bit of CGI that's not really dated well, but it is acceptable compared to like bad CGI in some 90s movies.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
so-
I don't really like. I don't know. Like, I mean, I hear people talk about the Mummy film sometimes, but I never really hear people speak highly of the sequels. It's only that, like the one that you just mentioned, Juno. Like, that's the only one I ever hear anybody talk about.
yeah, there was a sequel, and then there was what, Scorpion King.
Scorpion
The
King,
other one?
and then a bunch of Scorpion King movies.
that I have here.
Yeah.
The Mummy Returns, The Mummy 3, which is the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor with Jet Li as the bad guy mummy in this sequel.
You know, I'm gonna jump out of here and come back and see if that gets rid of that noise. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I tried.
Anything will go one by one.
Yep.
That help? Wow.
So yeah, surprisingly, it was the '99 remake Mummy that's number 4.
Yes.
What did it do when I jumped out? Did it get quiet when I jumped out, or did it still make that noise?
When you going, yeah,
Kept going?
it was
it's going from
on
still
when
on.
you. It has to be, yeah, because now I don't hear it at all.
Right. Oh shit. God damn it, Sean.
Sometimes it could be like
Yeah.
a fan or the AC or something. Sometimes,
Right.
sometimes that can
Yeah.
pull noise out.
Mm.
That's
But
why I
the one-
unplugged my headset for
yeah.
a second. I was wanting to see if maybe
Yeah.
my headphones were doing it,
The one with Tom Cruise sucked.
but it's not.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I definitely never saw it.
That was
Sounds
one
better
movie
now.
that was one movie that I walked out on in the theaters.
It's gone now.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep.
Cool.
But yeah, the 2017 remake of The Mummy was awful, and the one with Tom Cruise, that I walked out in that one because that was a
Thanks,
piece of
Russell.
shit.
Yeah,
I
I
got a
didn't
couple
see it.
new ones here. We got a couple new ones here, Russell. Thanks a lot, man. Here just for you.
Boy, that's a head, but that's a joke, boy. You missed it. Went right past you. You gotta keep, I say you gotta keep on your toes. But toes, that is. But the fast ones get right by you. Keep your ears open. But yappity, yappity, yap. I can't get a word in edgeway.
Awesome. Thanks, Russ. That's great. Russell's
Yeah,
such a
thank you,
great
Russell.
All right, my turn again. Okay, so now we got it switched here. I could switch it back around, but fuck it. I'll just go next. You can't have a top 5 countdown remakes without Maniac. Excellent
Yeah.
fucking remake.
That
Excellent
is true.
fucking reimagining. Elijah Wood is brilliant in it. The fucking it's got great ambiance. It's got great, you know what I mean? It's just fucking kicks ass. I love the first person view of it.
Yeah, the POV.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's totally
clever.
sick, and I totally respect that.
I'm not talking much because we'll talk more about it.
Because I know a lot of movies do that too. Did you guys ever see that movie Hardcore Henry?
Yeah, I have that
probably
actually.
when it came out. I don't think I've seen it since
Yeah.
then.
I feel like those POV movies, shots where it's just the POV of a character moving, those are like the most insane movies. Especially because, of course, the Maniac remake did it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Enter the Void from Gaspar Noé.
Yeah.
That movie's mostly all POV too. And we'll talk Maniac more because I got it
Yep.
on there.
All right, well,
Good one.
We'll just go straight to your number 3 then.
Number 3, JT.
All right, number 3 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03.
Oh, all right.
I adore the first movie. It's a masterpiece. The second's my favorite in the series. And then the remake, I think, is just out of all the slasher franchises, the main popular ones, Halloween, Friday, Child's Play, Scream, all that shit. And well, Scream did get a remake, but all those movies, Nightmare on Elm Street, all those slasher icons and franchises, Texas Chainsaw 3 for me is the best remake out of any of those. Like I've always loved. I actually prefer watching the remake to the original. Like it doesn't mean I like it more, but I watch it more often. Not Joe, but I love everything they did in that remake, except for the Hewitt change. Like I said earlier, I don't know what that's about, but it works after, especially that they made the beginning after it. So you had like a companion prequel movie for the remake, so it's its own little timeline there.
Yeah. And I do like Arlie Ermey as
yeah.
Sheriff White.
He's one of the best things about that movie. He's just unbelievable in everything that he was in, because he was an actual. He was in the army. He was a sergeant or something like that. He was med decorated.
Yep.
He was
he was a drill sergeant.
Yeah, he was in
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah, that was his big famous movie. I looked at his credits when I did the remake like a year ago, and he was in like hundreds of movies. Like, he did so many. Yeah, he did so many movies. Like just
Yeah, he was in another remake too.
Yeah, which one? It was in
Willard with Christian Glover.
I'm never a big fan of Willard, actually.
He was the asshole boss in that one.
Okay. And that's I mean, you get typecasted like as someone like that, of course.
Yeah, he's pretty good in that
always,
one.
Oh yeah, he's always playing. Yeah, he always sounds like a drill sergeant. Always. And he's just great. He's so good in that movie, in the remake.
Well, hell, when you talk about the beginning, he's in it even more.
Yeah, they show him more being a dipshit in that one, like how viciously mean he is.
Yeah, the beginning's not bad, actually. I was always mixed on it, and then I rewatched it when I covered it, and I went up, actually.
Yeah, I like the beginning. That's an underrated one.
Yeah. I love the 03 remake is, I think, one of the greatest horror remakes.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a great pick, JT.
We'll talk about the underrated next week if everybody can show up. I'm definitely doing top 5 underrated next week. So if you guys can show up, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underrated. Was it?
Make it.
Yeah, I got that'll be good. I already got most of them in my head right now. Underrated.
Yeah. What is it? Underrated, Keith?
Top 5 horror, best underrated horror.
Oh, best underrated horror movie. Okay, I'll get my list ready for that.
Top 5 most underrated. All right. Let me see.
Well, on number 4, right, or 3?
3.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right, coming in at number 3 for me is one that was already mentioned here. But yeah, it's just such an undeniable remake, and that is Maniac.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just such an undeniable remake overall. Like, I actually considered not having it on my list there for a minute. I was trying to like just be a little bit more obvious, like a little less obvious with my picks, but I'm like, this is just such a good remake. It's criminal to not mention that film, even though Keith just mentioned it. I'm sure it's going to be mentioned again, but like when I first heard about this film being remade with Elijah Wood, I was like, I don't know about that, man. I don't think this is a good idea. But like once I heard that William Lustig gave it his full blessing and he was working on it as a producer, that's when I was pulled back in. I was like, all right, William Lustig's not going to let his baby with Maniac. He's not going to let somebody just do whatever the fuck they want with it.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of pulled me back into it, to be thrilled with this when it finally came out. And yeah, just a really good film overall for what it is, especially with the point of view of the killer with Elijah Wood. And dude, that Achilles slice in that movie,
right?
that girl's walking by and he's under that car. And he slices the shit out of her ankle, and that sound effect goes. It gets me every time, dude.
I feel it every time. You feel that shit through the screen.
Even like when it comes up, like when that scene starts like building up, I'm like, all right, getting a little uneasy because I know it's coming.
Yeah, that's it. Dude, some of the effects in that movie, I don't even know how they did them. Like, they look so good. The kills in that.
Hey Ed just gave a super chat, so I got something for him real quick. Thanks a lot, Ed.
Hey there, Ed.
He says he appreciates the work.
Pumping for oil? You're crazy, boy. There's no oil in this ground. Stand up, son. You're falling all over yourself.
Thanks, Ed. We all.
But yeah, coming in at number 3 for me is the Maniac remake from 2012 or 13.
2012, yeah.
Yeah. For my number 3, I'm gonna pick the Evil Dead remake from 2013.
Nice.
Awesome.
That is the most violent remake that I went to go see in theaters, because I was like, I seen a lot of horror movies in theaters, but like that was more violent than Freddy vs. Jason when I saw it back in 2003.
Yeah.
Like Evil Dead 2013 remake just amped up the gore and the violence throughout that one.
from beginning to
Absolutely.
end. It's
Yep.
just like
Yeah.
horror. From the time you sit down, the time you get up, you get horror right up your ass, man.
Oh yeah.
Especially when
Great.
was it the possessed girl, like when she slices her tongue on the box cutter, like that
Yeah,
was the most
that's
violent shit that I ever saw.
That's a great effect.
I was like, whoa.
And then you start
Yeah.
beating her with the toilet cover and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the ending, it's raining blood. Like that is the most
Yeah, I
insane
know.
shit. They use a lot of
It's a
gallons
great
of blood.
That's
Dude,
such
when
a
I first heard about that extended, like somebody was like, "Yo, there's a longer cut." I'm like, "What? Like, what's there the longer cut of? There's more gore."
Yeah,
Like, dude, as
really?
if there wasn't enough already. Like, we need
Yeah,
more.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
holy
It looked like
shit.
it looked like an NC-17 R-rated movie.
Yeah.
It
That
looked
just
already
really got
violent.
me though, because I was like, "What else could there be?
Yep.
Like, there's
Yeah.
already enough fucking
Horror.
blood-drenched scenes
and when
throughout
you
this."
think of that, that's what makes Rise
was exciting,
not
wasn't
live
it?
up for me. Is because
It's like, all right, we get some more horror.
yeah,
all right.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't
More extreme.
go there in Rise. That's what I think was my biggest issue with Rise, is it just doesn't hit those insanity marks that an Evil Dead film should.
Yeah.
What,
You got
what
her
the heck was that?
eating the glass in Evil Dead Rise, and you can see the glass in her neck, and there's a few other things, but like I think having kids in it was a big issue with how far they can go, and I think they didn't go as far as they should have.
Yeah, I think that is true.
Yeah.
Because I was
Hey,
watching.
the evil.
Yeah, go ahead, Juno.
Oh, you go ahead, JT. Yeah,
I was
finish.
saying, that just when because I don't watch trailers, so when I was watching it for the first time, Evil Dead Rise, I'm looking at the family and I'm seeing the kids and stuff. I'm like, they better like do something with the two older kids here, because the young girl's getting plot armor for the whole movie. So I said, all right, they better have like these kids get possessed and stuff. And I was happy they did, and that like put some concerns to rest. Like once around the 45-minute mark, it happened, but they still didn't go as far as they should have. I think an Evil Dead movie, because all the things we just mentioned in 2013, you just don't have that like in Rise.
Yeah, because the Rise, it kind of felt like some vibes to that 2013 remake. Even the ending kind of felt similar, but I thought the 2013 had more of that extreme ending.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, eat this motherfucker. Like, especially that.
Go ahead.
Oh, like I like that part where the possessed demons trying to kill the girl, and then just eat this motherfucker, and then shoves the chainsaw all over the demon and cuts it in half fully. Like, you get that graphic shit.
It's such a good kill.
Like, I think that topped more than the Evil Dead Rise, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just feel like the only thing that the remake is missing is just the occasional humor that you get throughout an Evil Dead film. That's the only thing it's missing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I loved a lot of the references. I loved like the Dead by Dawn when they were started chanting that and stuff.
Yeah, and of course the car that they see there is the same car that they came in the first movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be more, because I know Bruce Campbell's said basically. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's quoted saying that there's going to be like every few years now. Maybe.
He appeared in the end. He appeared in the post-credit scene, saying "groovy."
Yeah. Now, do you guys think that is, because this is a conversation that's happened? Do you guys think at the end of that movie with his cameo, Bruce Campbell, do you think that it is Ash, him playing Ash, and it's linking that movie to the original movies, the first three, or is it just Bruce Campbell being himself and just having a cheeky little, homage in there with him saying groovy?
Cheeky. I would say
that's what I would always thought, because I know people who think that, and good cases for it. They try to tie the remake into the original 3-movie story, and I don't know. I never saw it that way. I never saw him as Ash at the end. I just
because I know they
saying like groovy, like giving.
Because I know they did Ash versus Evil Dead show after the remake.
Yeah, I love that show so much. What a crime!
I wish that got another season. It should have not got canceled.
Absolutely, it was a crime when that got canceled.
That's why season 3 was kind of anticlimactic, because the show got canceled.
Yeah,
they should have one more season.
Before I do my number 3, Russell says thoughts on Aldo Lotto film.
Why does that name ring a bell?
I was just trying to think where I've heard that. Let me see what he's done.
Although a lot of wait.
Aldo Lado, I never heard of him.
Shit, man, I'm kind of embarrassed not knowing it right away.
Sounds like a town. Sounds like a town in New Mexico or something.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. I just and Ninja the $5 super chat. Thanks a lot, man. Let me hook you up here with something.
Thanks, Ninja.
Thank you, Jason.
I think it looks like he was a director. He directed Short Night of the Glass Dolls, Night Train Murders.
I've heard Night Train, actually.
Who Saw Her Die, The Humanoid. But he was, it looks like he was an exploitation filmmaker from Italy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I know it. Oh, hell yeah.
I knew with the name Aldo, especially like the first name sounded familiar.
Yeah, apparently he just passed away recently. He was old as shit.
Damn.
He was born in 1934. He just passed away on November 25th. 88 years old.
Aldo.
Yeah.
What's up? What's up, Darren?
I knew it. God damn it. My number 3 is 1978's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is a German media book.
Nice.
Nice. And, yeah, I gotta get that one in my collection soon.
4K. To me, it kind of set the tone for horror remakes. 1978. You know what I mean? With that movie, it showed what you could do with them. Like Juno was talking about. He and I did a watch on it, and he really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. Yeah.
Donald Sutherland. It's got fucking Leonard Nimoy's in a role. It's just a damn good show, man. And they take it that extra step because to me the original Invasion of Body Snatchers is one of the best 1950s horror movies.
I'd agree with that because I'm not huge on 50s and stuff, but I would.
But that one's fucking good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the original,
but the remake was
because they're both different. Yep.
And 78's even better. So
yeah,
that goes for number 3 for me.
Yeah. Can't wait to get the Arrow edition because I know Arrow's they're doing 2 versions of it.
Yeah,
I think I might just hold out for the Arrow edition at this point because I don't own the film at all, so I may as well just keep waiting until that happens.
Yeah, because Arrow's doing like 2 covers of them, like one with the original poster and one with the new artwork.
Nice.
Like 2 editions of them.
I'll probably rewatch it again and when I do a video for it or something for my second watch of it.
But all right, so we're at number
2.
Number two. I had Evil Dead 2013, so we all talked about that one already. But yeah, that one is fantastic.
But do you enjoy? Like, what's your thoughts on it, JT? Like, did you enjoy seeing it in theaters?
I loved seeing it in theaters. The reaction was great. There was like half the people that you could tell were much bigger, like Evil Dead fans, and were like cheering even at some points. And then there were like people who just were there to see a horror movie, and they were like disgusted by what they were seeing. So like that was a fun experience actually seeing that in theaters. But I think everything about that movie is just brilliant. Like it
is violent as fuck.
Behind the first 2 movies, it would be third in the franchise.
That's one I've never heard anything bad about. By the time it came out, everyone.
Yeah, I never really hear anybody say they don't like.
There's some people that don't like it.
Oh, of course. I mean, like with any movie. That's one you don't.
I don't want to blast people's names out, but I just don't want to. Don't want them to attack me.
I haven't talked to anybody that doesn't like it yet. So.
Yeah, I think maybe like once ever, maybe from someone who said they didn't like it at all. But you don't hear a lot of bad talked about that movie.
I know that a lot of people complain like, "Oh, the guy was so fucking stupid to open the Book of the Dead." That's why I see everybody complaining about. Like,
oh, really? That's stupid. Fucking. I mean, that's something I would pick apart like in a video or something. But it's not like something that's gonna ruin the movie for me.
Yeah, I usually hear people say that. It's rare that I hear anybody say anything negative, but some people will be like, the reason why I don't like it is because it doesn't feel like an Evil Dead movie.
I've heard
and I can relate to that on some levels, but the film really manages to go in a direction of its own, and it's just
and it still
If
feels
you're a
Evil
fan
Dead.
of horror films and graphic situations and gore like that, I just don't see how you can't find any
Yeah.
value in it.
Oh,
Yeah, like
absolutely.
Evil
They
Dead
say that
Rise.
because
That
there's no comedy in it. You know?
yeah,
Yeah,
That's
Evil Dead
what-
Rise
Yeah.
kind of didn't feel like an
the most
Evil Dead
serious
movie for some
franchise
most of it.
by far. It's the most serious of all the movies.
Hmm.
It does not fuck around.
No, it
But I
doesn't.
do enjoy Ash vs. Evil Dead. I think that's an underrated show that
I love the
should have
hell out
never got canceled.
Evil Dead's another one of my favorite horror
Yeah.
franchises. I never did a list on my favorite horror franchise. That's something to do, maybe. The Child's Play, Phantasm, Evil Dead.
Phantasm.
Those are up there.
Yep.
That's awesome, Gore. Yeah, that was nice.
This is
Sean,
the Groovy collection.
Groovy Collection.
Compared to the Ungroovy collection.
That's what it's called, the Groovy collection.
That's cool. But yeah, Evil Dead 2013. I don't think
Badass
Yeah.
remake.
all brought it up.
Check out the back.
That's cool.
Well,
Number two,
coming in at
Sean.
number 2 for me is yeah, we just talked about it, but it's Evil Dead.
Yeah, I think all of us are gonna have it on the list. For sure.
Yeah, I
And
mean, there's
love
no way though I could do a top 5 like this without mentioning
Yeah.
that, because
That has to be
I
on
remember
there,
going
man.
to see Evil Dead in the theater.
That's
Me
what
and a buddy of mine decided to go actually see it, and both of us really weren't too thrilled to actually go see it, but we were both like, let's just go watch it and get it out of the way. But we both of us ended up enjoying it so much, and I mean, like, I know when I saw it, it was like, I really feel like the whole drug addict thing was like kind of like, wow, it's kind of ballsy for them to really do that with an Evil
I like
Dead
that
film.
they did
But
Yeah.
it is very relatable with modern times, with the opioid epidemic and everything. It is relatable, so I understand that.
Right.
But you know, as the film really starts to take off, and you get put in these situations where you're watching the characters go through some really fucked up situations. Like, I mean, when that one girl's possessed and she's hacking off her arm with a
Yeah, I
fucking
know.
meat cutter, the electric meat cutter.
She's
Oh
like,
my
I'm
god,
better
that
now.
doesn't happen fast. That
No,
scene's not
oh,
quick.
yeah.
Like,
It's dragged
she's
out.
fucking digging into her arm for quite a while, man.
That was
Yeah.
one of the scenes some people in the
And
theater
not
were
love
freking
that.
out.
Yeah. But the
Yeah,
tongue scene always gets me
Yeah.
with the
that's a
box
rough
cutter.
one too. That is a
Oh.
rough one, man.
But
And
I
then
heard
when
that's
what's
more.
his name, the,
Yeah.
the idiot who opened up the book, when he almost gets
Yeah.
stabbed in the eye with the needle, and it just
Yeah.
breaks his eyeglass lens. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
Oh.
god! Or
The
no, it
movie's
does
ultra
stab him in the eye,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Pull it
Yeah.
It,
slowly
like,
out.
it goes
Yeah,
into his
pull it out.
eyelid or something.
Yeah, he's got to pull it
Yeah,
out.
the movie's
Oh,
more
man.
ultra violent and more violent than Freddy vs. Jason. That's why I went like, oh shit, this is more insane and
But
more gruesome.
I just got this on 4K. I still haven't even watched the 4K yet, so I'll be watching that soon.
Mhm.
But yeah, coming in at number 2 for me is Evil Dead from 2013. It's just that undeniable of a remake. It's got to be
One of the most
Mine
violent
too.
remakes ever.
His too, also. So we all.
I'll just get it out of the way. Mine's at number 2 also. So what's yours?
All right. So what are we, number 1?
Number 2 for Keith.
Number 2 for Keith. No, he just went Evil Dead, right?
he picked Evil Dead.
I just figured out, get it out of the way. Fucking
My number 1 is Maniac from 2012. Yeah, I think it's one of the greatest just remakes in general, not even just horror of all time. And I love the original. I love William Lustig's Maniac. I love Joe Spinell. I can't pick which one I like better. Like, that's the one I was referring to earlier when I said I'm not sure still which one I like better, because I mean, they're the way that they were able to, and I was cautious and like kind of concerned too when they were saying, when they first announced it, but then when I heard what the hell, Alexander Aja was producing it and involved and stuff, and loving Piranha 3D and loving High Tension, so I knew a lot of Aja's stuff. So that put more faith in it. But then once I saw it for the first, it's a work of art, that movie. Like, everything about Maniac 2012 is a work of art. From the point of view shots, and Elijah Wood had to like be there every single day working with the DP and stuff like that, like much more than you ever would, like as an actor. Like him working with the director of photography with the camera and everything, because he had to be there for every shot. So then they get everything right. All the camera work's amazing. It has one of the best homages, like to an original in a remake. When he picks up, when you get the reflection right after the Achilles tendon with the girl in the parking lot, and he holds up the scalp, and then you see the reflection, and it's the cover of the original. That's such a great homage. That is such a great shot. And yeah, the kills are fantastic. I don't know how they even did some of them. Like they look so good. With the knife through in the beginning, right through the bottom of her, comes out
like
the mouth.
big reveal when she's going down on him and shit, and then he kills him. Oh man,
it's a work of art, that movie, and it was ballsy for them to change it, even though it's very similar story wise. For them to take it from grungy, grimy 80s New York City and then move the setting to LA with all the lights and everything like that. So it was a risk to do that, but it paid off because, like I said, I don't know which one I like better. Like they're both right neck and neck.
Just unique enough. It was just unique enough. It was just that much different.
A lot of original remakes do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think, and it's still underrated as hell, this movie. Like a lot of, I mean, unless you're like our community, like big into horror, a lot of people never even saw the original Maniac, let alone the remake with Elijah Wood. There's more people got to see this movie. Because for me, it's the best horror remake.
Awesome.
I really like with the remake how they added little things to the killer, like how we already know that he's got his own personal problems that he deals with, but he has like these OCD habits where like he constantly washes his hands. That's why his knuckles are always chopped up and bloody looking. And like he's like constantly got to wash his hands all the time. It's just like these little things that you see throughout the film.
I think they did a great job with that you mentioned, because his performance of Frank is, I think, a lot more like mentally ill than Spinell's version in the original. I think he's more like a tortured soul in the first movie and the original. The way he plays, like he feels very haunted by his past, and so is the Frank in the remake. But the way that Spinell plays it is like you kind of feel for him more a bit. But like with Frank with Elijah Wood, he plays it a lot more as like he's mentally ill, like severely, like when we see his hallucinations and stuff like that from the first person, and he's in the restaurant, and then you see people like bleeding and shit like that, and he has to take medication. So I think he's a lot more unhinged in the remake.
I mean, he's got social anxiety too. Like once like his date shows up, you see the social anxiety kicking in right away, and his vision gets all blurry and shit.
Yeah, he's got to take the medication.
Going into a panic.
I do like that.
At some point,
I do like that Elijah Woods gave respect to the role, and he wasn't like shitting on the original, and he liked Joe Spinell's version. So that was cool that he gave respect to the original movie as well.
Yeah, he's a huge horror fanatic, Elijah Wood.
Yeah,
which I didn't know back until the movie came out, until the remake came out.
I just, I really think if William Lustig wasn't involved and didn't give it his blessing, it might have been a different project, though.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Would have been a different movie. Yep.
Like, can you imagine that though? Like with Elijah Wood, but without William Lustig. Like, what would that have been? It probably would have been a slightly different.
Oh yeah, for sure. Without Lustig,
Wood's a sick fucker, but yeah, you kind of need Lustig if you're gonna fuck with Maniac. You need Lustig.
Yeah.
I had the original
and I feel like that's something that's wise to do if you're gonna remake anybody's original film. You got to get their blessing and try to get them involved too.
Just like asking the father for marriage, like to take his daughter in marriage. Like, it's all right. Are you happy with this? Is this okay?
Great
you got my blessing.
Yeah. Definitely. You can have my son. Yeah.
That's definitely.
Make sure you treat him right.
To have it number one.
Take care of it.
Yeah, make sure.
So are we on number 2 or 1?
One.
Yeah, number 1.
I'm on number 2.
That's because he ended up jumping, I think.
Oh,
yeah, I just my number 2 just because everybody else was talking about it. I just got it out of the way.
Yeah. You want me to just show my number 2 real quick?
Just do your number 2, or if you want, do your 2 and 1 at once. If you want, I don't care.
I'll do one after next. I'll do it real quick. So number
All
2
Sorry
was going to
about that,
be.
Vito.
It's okay. No, number 2 is Friday
knew
13, 2009 Killer Cut.
I knew that was
Fuck.
going to be in there. I knew
I
it.
forgot about that one.
I don't
Yeah,
care
this is.
for the reboot Friday.
Yeah, I enjoy this one. I
Yeah,
think
it's
this
alright.
is a reboot that David Gordon Green should have fucking pay pay attention to how to do a reboot right. Not
Yeah.
have Easter egg bullshit or I got peanut butter on my penis. Like what the fuck is that shit? I was
Yeah,
like, what
I
the
forgot
fuck,
about that.
David Gordon Green?
the Friday remake for me is it's all right. It's like how it is. Like
They do the
to me,
Jason shit right.
it blows
They do
my
the Jason
mind.
well.
Yeah, I like Jason. I liked how they condensed like the
Yeah.
first 4 movies in the
Jason's a
beginning.
brutal motherfucker in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Derek Mears, right? Played him.
Yeah. And right from the get-go, like soon as you see him in that movie, when that dude finds him, when he's like, he discovers the pot plants, and he looks up, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Dude, no!" He just fucking
Yeah.
cuts him in half.
And then
Yeah,
I also like that guy Travis Winkle that plays Trent, the asshole Trent. I like the way he
do
gets
too.
killed.
Stupendous.
I like the character.
The kids are stupendous, dude.
And he's
I
supposed to
like
be
the
like the
character
same.
because he gets a really good send off when
Yeah.
he
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
impales him on that fucking tow truck and he's just driving away.
And he's got an
Yeah.
amazingly hilarious scream too. When
See
the
you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
thrown on the car and he's in the car and it gets fucking crushed on the car, he screams.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
such a
And
funny.
I think this remake's underrated and very vicious, brutal, bloody movie. That's number 2, and I'll go to my number 1 real quick. It's number 1 is going to be The Hills Have Ice. Alexandre
That's a good one.
Aja.
Yep, Alexander Aja.
I forgot
The
about
Hills Have
that.
Ice remake.
That's a great one. That's in my honorable mentions.
Yeah, this is a remake that I actually liked it better than the original. I'm a huge Wes Craven fan, but the original is not my favorite. I always prefer this one over it.
I know a lot of people who prefer the remake.
Yeah,
I
it's just
like the original
It's a
better. I like both
Yeah.
of them.
together.
because this is like one remake that I actually prefer to watch over the original because I think this one's more crazy and more disturbing and more mayhem than the original movie.
I think overall it's a better formed movie. It's better structured, really. But
Yeah,
also
and I-
to be
yeah.
fair,
I agree with
like
that.
to be fair with comparing the two, like the original Hills Have Eyes was 77, and you're going with
Mhm.
that. What's that? It's
Yeah.
2006. Way different eras
Yeah.
right there. I
Yeah.
mean, if you think about if Wes Craven back in 77 had all the resources that they had for that remake when they did that, probably be doing the same exact movie.
Yeah, because I do enjoy Wes Craven's Last House on the Left more than the original Hills Have Eyes. But when it goes to like the original or the remake, I prefer the remake because I just like how crazy this movie is, and it's just very mayhem throughout. Especially when the character, the guy that plays the hero of the movie, Doug, when he fights the bald-headed character Pluto. That scene was fucking insane. Like when I would see that, because my dad used to have it on Blockbuster DVD, because he would rent it, and I thought that scene was the most scariest part, where he's like chasing him with the axe and cutting his finger off, and then he's about to like stab him, but he stabs him in the foot and then stabs him in the neck with the flag, and then hits him in the head with the axe, and that badass score just hits the background. Like that was just such a badass scene.
I mean, coming from Alexander Aja right off of High Tension.
Especially that axe too. That axe is like so crazily crafted throughout the movie.
It was
Yeah,
2003, 2004 High Tension. So this is 2 years, 3 years after.
2006 for the remake of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said it. I'm not a big Craven fan. Like that's like my unpopular director of horror opinion. I like his 70s stuff more. Like I love the original Hills Have Eyes. I love Hills Have Eyes 2. I love Last House on the Left. Swamp Thing is early 80s is fun.
Yeah.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare and the Nightmare on Elm Street, and then that's basically it. Like,
and Wes Craven's son and himself would go on to write the remake a year later for the remake sequel.
Yeah. Actually, that one I remember not being too bad either. I like in the original Hills Have Eyes. I just like how they look not as crazy than in the remake. Like they look like just completely deformed and like completely radiated and fucked up, which is cool. I just it makes it more real. I guess in the original, just that they look more normal. They just look like they're people living in the hills and shit and suffering.
Yeah, the ones because I like how they were done in the remake. They look more terrifying when I first saw the movie. It's just like, damn, like
the is very, very different. Which
the way the character Pluto kills the two people in the gas suits with the pickaxe, like that was an insane opening.
Oh, everything is great about the remake. I love that.
The way that opens, like whoa.
Is it in my top 10? It's right.
Yeah, I think the Hills Have Eyes remake is definitely a worthy one to be mentioned for a top 5 like this. And for one of the main factors of, I do agree with you there, Juno. I do think it's a better film than the original Hills Have Eyes. But when you really do compare them, like you look at it fair, like to be on a fair level, back then on low budget film in the 70s, like. And you're watching the film and you're trying to like really understand, like, all right, these people, they really live out in the hills, or they just like or they just hoarders and they like to wear random shit. And it's just, it's really hard to like comprehend when the original one, like these people are really cannibalistic. But when you see that in the remake, it's clear because they got more money, the budget with the makeup and everything to really sell that factor.
Absolutely.
Like even Russell's mentioning Michael Berryman was in the original. I do like Michael Berryman.
He's also in the second one somehow.
Yeah, he's in the second one. I have the Blu-ray of that one with that box set with the poster and the postcards. I have that.
I think the best thing about part 2 is we get a scene where a dog has a fucking flashback.
I don't like that.
That's so fucking funny.
I love that scene. The dog's just sitting there having a flashback about the first movie. Like, oh, damn, the dog's got feelings about it too. Like, oh, shit.
It's like tormented, man.
It's just so funny. It's like I just love how the filmmakers take a minute to. Now, all right, I know the humans are going through stress right now, but what about the dog?
Yeah, how are you feeling, buddy? You put some microphone. Tell us how you feel. If it's all right, I'm going to read off a few honorable mentions that no one mentioned here that I had up here, just to give them some love. We mentioned Black Christmas 06, House of Wax, Sorority Row from 2009. Doesn't get as much like as it deserves. It's a fun one, I think. My Bloody Valentine from 2009. I actually like it better than the original. Silent Night.
That's cool, man.
2012. It from 2017. The Town That Dreaded Sundown remake from 2014. I like that.
That's a pretty good one.
Let Me In, I put it in honorable mention. The Uninvited from 2009, the remake of Tale of Two Sisters, is a great movie. Hills Have Eyes, and I Spit on Your Grave, 2010 remake. That almost made the list. I don't know which. That's another one. I don't know which one I prefer. I think I prefer the remake at this point. Me too. I think I prefer the remake because I've watched it more times than the original for sure.
Have you guys seen that?
The acting is just so shitty, and it, from the villain, the acting is just so shitty.
And the kills and the revenge he gets is just off the charts compared to the original.
Have you guys seen the Deja Vu one?
Yeah, it's fucking awful.
That's like a long ass movie.
2.5 hours. Yeah, 2.5 hours. The movie is
2 hours. What the hell, man?
How do you stretch a movie like that into 2.5 fucking hours?
I don't know. I saw it once, and that's it. That might be a movie that I didn't finish, and that's so rare for me to not finish it. Like, be like, I can't, or just fall asleep and then just say, fuck it, I'm not going to finish the rest of it.
And that movie I see I go to FYA and I see that movie for $30. I'm like, I'm not buying that bullshit.
Yeah, right.
That movie sounds like it must have been one of those situations where they had a high budget and didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's make a long movie. Yeah. We got money. Let's make a long one.
Yeah, especially like when you think of how it was the same director and writer from the original. It's like now compared to back then, now we got money. Like what they had working on the original. They're like, we actually have like some money here, so let's like go.
And they put it for free on Tubi.
Oh yeah,
We didn't talk about this, so let's talk about this time.
That's so bad. That was such a bad watch. The sequels to the remake aren't bad. Like I Spit on Your Grave 2 and 3. I think
they had sequels.
3,
I didn't know.
remakes have,
there's 3 of them.
Yeah, this is the first, and then the 2 sequels to the remake. And then Deja Vu is the sequel to the original.
Like the reboot sequel.
Yeah, which is not bad. And the girl, I forget who plays Jennifer Hill in the remake. She comes back in the third movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
The second one's like its own story.
They're trying to prosecute her for killing the motherfucker.
I'm trying to think of the other ones that like wasn't mentioned. But I'm just not. I think we covered a whole lot of it. The Crazies. Hey, he just put it.
The Crazies underrated.
There's a Rabid remake.
Put it in the chat when I was saying that the Crazies remake's not bad.
Rabid remake has got some of the sickest fucking effects I've ever seen.
I still haven't seen the Rabid remake, and I love Rabid, the original. Rabid.
It's from the Social Sisters. It's completely
it's the Social Sisters, right?
Yeah, they completely rebooted it, but I'm telling you, when you see it, the effects, the musical makeup effects are unreal.
That's been on my list just to watch it since it came out, and I just never got around to it because I do like Rabid. Is probably Rabid might be my top 5. Yeah, Cronenberg movies. The Brood, Rabid, Shivers. Like I said, on my first watch, made it probably in the top 5. Videodrome. It was great. That was a great one.
Lived up to what I said it would.
Yeah, no, that was a very good watch. Which definitely will get a video and a second watch sometime soon. Yes.
Awesome.
Has Sean said his number 1 already, or?
Yeah, what's it? Me and then Keith left with the number 1, I think, right?
Yeah, because I already said my number 1 was Hell's Advice, the remake.
All right, coming in at number 1 for me is a remake from the 80s, and I'm surprised nobody has mentioned this one yet. And my number 1 remake of all time has got to be from 1988, and that is The Blob.
Blob, yeah.
I mentioned on an honorable mention. Yeah.
Okay.
I had it as honorable. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I had it as number 6 on my top 10, and I didn't pick that when I said I wanted to switch them around. Yeah, The Blob is amazing.
Yeah, I probably wasn't paying attention, but I could have swore I didn't hear anybody mention The Blob. But
for me,
yeah, just what I think honestly, like that's like one of the reasons why it's coming in at number 1 for me is because I feel like it's better than the original film. The original film's a classic; it's good for what it is. But it is also one of those situations again with The Hills Have Eyes. Like it's, like the original film I think came out in '58, and then the remake came out like 30 some years later in 1988.
Yeah, 88.
And by then, obviously, technology and effects have been, just way better, way better results than what you would have back in the '50s. But yeah, just that factor alone right there is just really enough to make this film so much more watchable over the original. I know a lot more. Overall, I think most people probably would agree with me that the remake is probably a better film over the original. Yeah. It really depends. Really. I would say probably like horror fans that are a little bit older than me might prefer the original over the remake. But
this might be surprise to you, Sean, but I am actually opposite with that one.
Oh, okay. See, some people do. Some people do prefer the remake or the original over the remake.
Yeah. The reason why I prefer the original is because I was actually introduced to the first one on VHS because I used to watch it on that Good Times VHS.
Okay. Yeah.
The original. That's why I saw that one first. If I would have seen the remake first, I could have liked the remake more. But I kind of stuck with the original.
I know I saw the original Blob on TV when I was a kid, and I saw that before the remake, but I also found the film really kind of goofy. I felt like we were watching like donut jelly, like attacking people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 1958 too, though. It's like I don't think the movie's bad.
Yeah.
I just prefer the remake a little bit more over the classic original.
I mean, the effects work in the Blob remake. That's what I mentioned. The Blob.
But you want to know which one was bad? It was the Return of the Blob.
Yeah.
I never saw
Yeah.
it. Never saw
But
it.
I really feel like one of the scenes in the Blob that really like stands out the most. That's like, yo, like this is a fucking movie here. It's like, you know, when they're in the hospital and Shawnee Smith's boyfriend Paul, I think his name is, and he's like in the waiting room. He's trying to get the doctor's attention about the bum being attacked by the Blob, and the next you know it, it's on the ceiling and it drops down on him. And then she comes in to go see where he's at, and he's like trying to stretch out of the Blob. Oh my god!
That's an iconic.
I think they used his face like as one of those movie posters or something.
Yeah, it used to be the VHS tape. I know what you're talking about, the poster where it just said the Blob and it's him trying to come out of the pink shit. But and then she's trying to pull him out of the Blob, and then she just pulls his arm out. It's like, oh, it's so fucking graphic too.
It's surprising that Screen Factory 4K has that reversible artwork for that.
It does have reversible artwork actually,
and it's that artwork, the one that that has the boyfriend covered in the Blob.
Yeah,
that was an awesome artwork.
Yeah, I don't understand why Scream Factory picks and chooses with the reversible artwork, but there's new people working for them now, and those people don't give a fuck.
Cheap asses.
Yeah,
they just don't care. Like, I really think those people that are working for Scream Factory are looking at it as, 9 to 5, time to go home.
Probably is how they do it. That remake does have some of the best practical effects ever.
Yeah, and I also like how the end of the movie does set up for a sequel, because we see that that crazy Reverend guy who like got affected by it, like he's got like a scar on his face, and he has that jar of the specimen in it. I'm surprised nobody ever tried to build on that movie after that, just based on that ending, but. I mean, I'm not a big fan of sequels as it is anyway, but I'm still surprised no one tried to build on the Blob remake.
And also, it's one of those movies where filmmakers had balls to kill kids in that movie.
Yeah, I love that.
Different times back then, man.
Always bring that
nowadays in movies, filmmakers are just a bunch of pussy fights. Like, they don't want to kill kids in the movie.
Yeah, that was the whole controversy with the Terrifier 3 teaser.
Yep.
People were getting all a bunch because kid in the teaser.
And this was directed by Chuck Russell, but him and Frank Darabont actually they collaborated on the script for this.
Yeah, Frank Darabont.
Yeah, Frank Darabont and Chuck Russell collaborated on the screenplay.
Chuck Russell directed a lot of good ones.
The Blob, I always say, I was thinking this recently, like a few weeks ago, I said it in some video. Can you think of like any other creatures, things in horror movies and stuff that fire doesn't kill? Except for like the Blob. The only thing that came to mind was cold. Like fire doesn't do anything. When you think about it, like other like monsters and creatures and horror movies, like fire, everything, except for the Blob. And then, we just watched Phantasm last night. All man's afraid of the cold.
That Jason's mentioning that Bill Moseley was one of the soldiers in the sewers in the Blob remake.
Yes, he was.
And he even gets interviewed for the
Bill
Blu-ray.
Moseley and everything.
Even though he had a small part, that's cool that they got him interviewed.
My favorite zombie film. Wait, what was that?
But coming in at number 1 for me is the Blob remake from 1988.
Awesome pick. Awesome movie.
All right, so just left with mine this.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're number 1.
That's a fly for David Cronenberg.
Nice.
Badass film.
It is, man. He's got a lot of nostalgia for me. Just like I feel like what Juno said about like the original Blob. From what he said, it sounds like it's a nostalgic favorite for me.
Oh yeah.
And nostalgia plays such a big role in it, guys. It really does. And a lot of my favorites, and a lot of just what I love in films, a lot of it's got to do with nostalgia.
Yeah.
Without nostalgia, you don't have any of it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, the Bly remake is such a badass movie. Even that finale when he's like because of course throughout the movie he's gruesomely transformation. His fingernails are coming off. His skin is changing.
What she did emotionally, she does such a great fucking job.
Yeah, I like Gina Davis.
Oh man, Gina Davis is brilliant.
Oh, she's great. Great in that. She's so good in that. She plays the scenes in that movie with the baby and everything.
All right, I'm gonna jump out one more time and I'll be back because this noise is getting fucked up.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, so
The remake is such a badass remake. Yeah.
He's fucking possessed. You son of a bitch, smash! I'm going around fucking stomping.
There's a question, and well, not a question, but people in chat are talking about their favorite zombie movies. What's your favorite zombie film? My favorite zombie movie is
For me,
Jackson's Dead Alive or Brain Dead.
For me, it's Lucio Fulci's Zombie 2.
Yeah, that's in my top 5.
Zombie, Night of the Living Dead, and Dawn of the Dead are all time.
Yeah. I also want to mention Land of the Dead. Even though a lot of people don't like that movie, I went to go see that one in theaters and I liked
Burial Ground.
Yeah.
Living Dead.
Hey, that's a good one. And forever. Whatchamacallit?
Everything back in here.
Is Reanimator considered a zombie movie?
That's the thing, like, because I always specify with Dead Alive being my favorite zombie movie, but Day of the Dead is my favorite film, like my favorite movie of all time. As a movie, I think it's better.
Oh, those we forgot to mention in the worst remake was the 2 Day of the Dead remakes.
Yeah.
They made 2 freaking remakes of Day of the Dead.
Why we didn't mention? No one remembers.
All day long, Darren. All day long.
Hell yeah.
The doors off.
Zombie 2 is top 5.
Yeah.
Zombie movie.
I always thought that was a badass name for the Lucio Fulci movie. I thought the way it's called, it takes off E and then they just called Zombie with number 2 right there.
A zombie flesh eater, went under 2. That's so many.
I agree, Jason. I do enjoy Land of the Dead.
Hell of the Living Dead is great.
I wish Living Dead had been just before it got more love, man. Also known as Let the Sleeping Corpses Lie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in forever, that movie. But I know it's a good one. I haven't seen it forever.
Creepy. It's got a weirdness to it. The others don't have. Well, shit, I'll get us away from this whole fucking noise, you guys. Next Monday at 10 o'clock, so we meet the most underrated horror.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sound good to everybody?
I'll definitely join for the underrated horror movies, and I'll get my list ready.
Try to just kill this freaking noise.
Yeah, I should be able to make it next Monday. Just just send me the link again, and I'll keep you updated that I can definitely make it. But as of right now, I should be able to make it without any issues.
Excellent.
Yeah, same. Sounds good.
Thanks everybody for joining us. Much love to everybody. Had a great time once again, and I'll be talking to you guys.
Horror remix.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, and take care, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, Sean. Take care, JT.
I'll once again leave you with this.
Because I am agoraphobe, and you